I have a problem. And I say this all the time, but my art friggin' sucks. Look, I'm grateful for my skills, but sometimes it's just frustrating, okay? I think I just have a severe case of artist eye syndrome. It's where an artist looks at their artwork and sees all of their imperfections while the general audience thinks it's a masterpiece. I don't know why our brain was wired to do this, but it's pretty freaking annoying. Okay, so like, I have always had this dilemma where I love drawing girls, okay? Girls are pretty, but it's starting to get boring. I'm not saying girls are boring, I just want to make a story, okay? And I always felt like I was playing it safe with my art by drawing portraits of girls. And I tell myself every time, I need to draw backgrounds, but a girl is lazy. But it's time to change. They say in the art world, if you draw something 10 times, then you'll draw it every time. So I said, okay, I will make 50 drawings that will last 30 minutes each time for the span of 2 weeks. Look, I would do this all in one day or two, but I am trying to save my mental sanity, so I am giving myself 2 weeks, okay? So basically, the goal of this is to get used to making a draft that I can be happy with, and it includes a background, because if you just raw dog a drawing, you will have hurdles along the way, and it will just take more time to actually complete the drawing because you don't know the big idea. And we don't like spending more time than we need to on something, right? And by doing a time limit, it forces me to get the main ideas down, like how do I do the lighting, how can I draw this thing in the most efficient way possible and make it look like it's something. With that being said, it's time. So first, I gathered my references, which was low-key kind of hard because I can't just draw backgrounds. I need at least some character behind it because if I don't, then I will get bored. And if I get bored, there is no way I will be able to pull through. So I took a character from like a random fandom. I had like a whole world of nostalgia because I needed to search up 50 characters and I had to go through my Tumblr to see what I was into back then, and then I had to look at my anime list, and I wanted to have like 50 characters without repeating the same like series. Like, it had to be my favorite character, my favorite character, or else I would get bored. And then I added animals in between these references so I could just give myself a little bit of a break and I draw something cute, because why not? Okay, let's start actually drawing. We started off strong with a freaking Labubu because I think they are so cute. I am not falling for the propaganda that Labubus are ugly, okay? I have been wanting one even before they were popular, so I will get my hands on it. But back to the art, my basic process is to get the general shapes down, then try to add details to get as much information as possible. Honestly, I was quite surprised that I was able to finish the first one on time without me feeling frustrated about it. Cityscapes are kind of my forte since I am a city girl. But oh, this next one, this freerun drawing, something about me and nature just doesn't want to work well, even though I really love drawing nature in my drawings. I could not make the greens be coherent with the blue sky surrounding it for some reason. The drawings went back and forth between natures and cityscapes for a little bit. As much as I really wanted to render these characters out, I couldn't since I was in the time limit. But it was just frustrating that I couldn't get the personality of the characters to match with the background. But it's okay, the purpose of this was to draw backgrounds, not characters. I was a bit overwhelmed at this point because some of the perspective wasn't being cooperative with me. Well, good thing I have this last drawing on this set because look, this may just look like another drawing where I'm drawing a portrait of a girl, but this is different, okay? Because we have lighting affecting the character, and simple lighting creates a whole new story. Like, you can make it look spooky, or dramatic, or badass. Like, I love playing lighting with characters. And this was the first set. Honestly, I feel like I did better than expected. I could definitely put these into real drawings if I really wanted to. I'm still pretty confident at this point. I wanted to do something a little more bolder, like draw Pokemon. You know, I don't usually draw creatures, so this was good practice for me. I used to hate freaking Wooper? The Wooper Pokemon. But that little guy grew onto me, like he just has no arms and vibing. The one thing that was annoying me a bit was perspective again. I started the next drawing and I dreaded using the perspective tool in Clip Studio Paint. It's the most annoying thing ever. I just hate setting up the rulers and trying to figure out where my lines are going. I definitely found myself trying to get the perspective right rather than pushing myself to get to the whole picture. Okay, but the next drawing, I'm not trying to be a gooner here. I just think Chris Redfield, the character I'm drawing here, just looks good with his muscles being the main focus, okay? At least I'm not drawing this Chris Redfield.
What the hell?
This drawing made me find out how much studying I need to do on men. I could not draw muscles for my life. I also noticed that I had a problem with my colors starting off a little dull, so I wanted to practice with more bolder colors in this piece. This was probably my most favorite piece because of how pretty the colors blended together. Look, I said this and then in the next drawing it just did not translate. And that was it for this set. I didn't like most of it this time because of the colors, but number 6 and number 9 was my favorite. For this set, I was low-key kinda locked in, like, we were on a roll. I don't know if it's because I took a break here or what, I don't remember when I took breaks for this, but there was a problem. I was starting to draw a little too fast now, like, I kept finishing before the 30-minute mark, and honestly, I was just trying to add like the most randomness things just for the time to go by. So I was like, okay, this isn't even like a challenge anymore, this is just a marathon. So I made myself a new rule, and I turned the time down, but if I turn the time down, then I'm not allowed to go back to the 30-minute mark or give myself any grace time. So I put the timer down to 20 minutes per drawing now. It gave me a sense of urgency, panic, and fear, just like how life is. And maybe this sense of urgency actually worked, because why do I feel like I improved after doing that? And that was it for this set. I'd say it was a much needed improvement. The scenery started to go a little bolder. There was a lot more details that I had to look out for, and it was a little scary considering the fact that I had 20-minute time limits now. I started to use a lot more texture because they say that texture can convey a lot of information, so I wanted to utilize that more, so it saves time on my end. And you know what? By this point, I was actually feeling like, wow, maybe I am just that lazy, because honestly, making these ideas weren't that hard. I mean, I guess I really didn't change much from the references, but still, it made me realize that, hey, I can just do like these drawings with these backgrounds. I'm just lazy, lamau. But even though I really kind of didn't want to do this, I still finished the drafts kind of fast, to the point where I kind of wanted to lower the timer a little bit more. I was a little hesitant at first because I wanted to do 15 minutes, but I guess I will just play it safe and make it into 18 minutes instead because I can't be stressed. And this was the set. I feel like this was the most detailed set compared to the other ones, and it was pretty decent, so I can't really complain. This set was a little bit more scary. It had a lot more things happening. A lot more crazy lighting happening, and even an angle I don't usually do. I was really feeling it here. My will to push was diminishing. Nature was kicking my ass again. I really didn't like the beginning of this. Maybe it's because I keep using brushes that say it will help me make bushes or grass, but it makes the worst bushes when I do it. And then I tried to draw a freaking man again where all of his muscles were showing, and it was just killing me. I can't do muscles for the life of me, my god. But I have to do it for Dante. I kind of just breezed through the rest of this set and tried not to put that much thought into it. So here's the progress for this one. Even though it was a little stressful, I think I had the most fun because of how dynamic it was. I felt like I gained a little bit of energy here. I felt like I was understanding how to proceed with these artworks at this point. Like, I saw the light. Like, I reached the peak of my powers. I wasn't worried. I was fighting all my demons. I felt like I had a little struggle here and there, but I was able to solve it eventually. And what I realized is that there is a lot of problem solving that you have to do when you start to do background art. And this was the set. There is a lot of characters sitting here for some reason. I don't know why. This felt pretty normal. I felt a little chill about it, like I'm a nonchalant girl type of person right now. Nothing was making me feel rushed, or nothing was making me feel like I was fighting demons again. I was just going through this with no thoughts in my head. Maybe I'm too comfortable doing this now. I don't know if it's because I haven't been putting much effort in the details, or I'm just satisfied with what I have already. But it felt like I was working too fast again. So finally, these 18 minutes need to go down to 15 minutes. And this was the set. It was alright, could have been better, I think. You know when you're in high school and you reach your senior year, but it's your senior year and you are just ready to finish school and you develop senioritis because my god, the last few classes can be the most boring thing in the world? Yeah, I was just feeling that. Because I knew I was reaching the ending. Hell, I even started to slack a little. Well, maybe like really bad. But honestly, I could have done the worst drawing, but once I added lighting, it felt like the drawing already had life. Like, I think the solution to bland drawings is to just add lighting. It adds so much feeling into the drawing that you don't even care what the character looks like because the rest of the environment looks pretty. And here's what it is together. I personally love number 39 out of all the drawings so far. I felt like I kept having extra time again. I kept feeling like the sketch was done earlier than expected. So I will turn my timer down to 10 minutes. I can't go back now. But you know, it's good because in the last set, I was struggling to pull through till the end, and this will just help me get to the ending faster. And these 10 minutes felt like a breeze. I wasn't panicked. I was at peace. I was going with the flow, not having the sense of urgency anymore. I mean, honestly, I thought it would be worse because I put it down to 10 minutes. I mean, it's 10 minutes. I could finish my sandwich in 10 minutes. What makes me think I could finish a sketch in 10 minutes? But this was the set. Honestly, I hated number 42. I think that one made me panic the most out of all the artworks. The final days, but now it feels like I was doing a project and the project is due in like 3 hours because tell me why, after all these times where I felt confident, I now start to feel the panicking setting in. This especially shows in the last drawing. What the hell? And that was it. That was the end. So here's some takeaways that I got from doing this challenge. First, undo perfectionism. You know, even the drawings that didn't have a lot of details still brought the message out, and I could always add stuff later if I really wanted to. Second, lighting is very underrated. You know how lighting can change your face? Yeah, I think that applies to everything now, so I started to like lighting in my artworks more. And if you think you're ugly, it's not you. It's literally the lighting. Third and final takeaway. If you look at life in a more saturated way, the world looks so much more pretty. I think people underestimate the colors of our world. This is why I especially like the sun, because the sun brings out the colors of the world and it just looks so pretty, especially in nature. And this is what I have to do with my drawings because most of my drawings started off as dull and I didn't really like that. I need to make it a little bit more colorful. Will I do this again? Probably if I'm really desperate to improve. If you are trying to improve something, like maybe you're making music or coding, I think you should put yourself in a time limit sometimes to create things. I think people can get really creative when they are in a time limit and they start panicking in a countdown. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed my pain. Thank you and goodbye.